I'm Stevie Van Zandt. I'm here to induct the small faces and the faces into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not too many bands get a second life. In this case, I'm sure it helped having not just one, but miraculously two of the greatest white soul singers in the history of rock and roll, Steve Marriott and Rod Stewart. Steve was a child actor and walked away from a very promising acting career, deciding that music was a much better fit with his attention deficit disorder, which he had long before it was fashionable. He started an R&B group called The Moments and went to work in a music store. As fate would have it, into that music store comes Ronnie Lane, and Steve Marriott sells him his first bass. And they knew each other a little bit. Steve remembered Ronnie and his drummer friend, Kenney Jones, from a group called The Outcasts. And long story short, they jammed together, bonded over Marriott's record collection, and started a new group called The Small Faces. When the original organ player didn't quite work out, they would grab McLagan from Boz and the Boz People. You all remember them? Yes, because he happened to be a great keyboard player, and yes, because he happened to be a great guy, but most importantly, he was the right height. By 1964-65, rhythm and blues had taken over the London clubs. And the blue-eyed soul scene, as part of the blue-eyed soul scene, the Small Faces had a decided disadvantage when compared to the Rolling Stones, the Animals, the Yardbirds, the Pretty Things, them. Unlike those other groups, the Small Faces were actually good-looking. These other guys were scaring everybody to death, you know. And suddenly there were these cute little cuddly, cheeky little devils, you know, cheerful and friendly, but playing like Booker T and the MGs and singing like Wilson Pickett and having hits right away. My imagination isn't good enough to picture all the sex they must have had. And they became the darlings of the mod movement. They lived the mod lifestyle, you know, the right clothes were everything. Just as important as the right haircut, the right dance steps, the tricked out scooters, and the right amphetamines. To further make the point of how important clothes were to the mods, these shrewd negotiators signed with their first real manager, Don Arden, for about $30 a week apiece because he threw in an open charge account on Carnaby Street. True. To this day, no one's quite sure who got the better of that deal. They did a bunch of classic records which defined garage rock at its finest. It would make them a staple of our underground garage format. All or Nothing, What You Gonna Do About It, My Way of Giving, Shalali, Here Comes the Nice, Itchy Park, Tin Soldier, Afterglow, and of course the classic album Ogden's Nut Gone Flake. But Itchy Park was their only hit in America. And tragically, they never came over. So after about 4 or 5 years, Steve Marriott gets itchy indeed yet again, and splits and forms Humble Pie, who we would get to know in America. And Rod Stewart and Ronnie Wood join Lane, Jones, and McLagan for the band's second life. Rod Stewart had been around in London in several groups, Steam Packet, Shotgun Express, among others. But we would meet him as the incredible singer with one of the greatest bands of all time, the far too short-lived Jeff Beck Group. Amazing. And just to quickly illustrate how media coverage was slightly different back then, I remember my bass player breathlessly rushing into rehearsal, holding up a Rolling Stone magazine, declaring, "Look, everybody, Rod Stewart is white." We said, "Get the hell out of here. Give me that thing." It's white. The picture's just faded. We had never heard of anybody quite like him. We also have Jeff Beck to thank for introducing us to Ronnie Wood. Yeah. But as a bass player, and those first two Jeff Beck albums have some of the greatest bass playing you'll ever hear in your life, okay? But it turns out he was a great guitar player before he was a great bass player in another British invasion group that forgot to invade called the Byrds, B-I-R-D-S. Yeah. This is like 1964. Ronnie's 16, 17 years old. He was already a great guitar player, a fantastic tone. I'm still trying to get it. And by the way, the Byrds were the darlings of the mods before the Small Faces or even the Who. So no surprise Ronnie Wood fit right in with the Faces. When Rod and Ronnie joined the group, they decided to slightly alter the name, but changing the Small Faces to the Proudly Large Noses would have made the other three guys feel a bit inadequate. So they decided to just drop the small part, and they became the Faces. They would tour America with great records like Three Button Hand Me Down, Have Me a Real Good Time, Flying, Stay With Me, Ooh La La, Pool Hall Richard, and You Can Make Me Dance, many others. After all is said and done, both the Small Faces and the Faces had one thing very much in common. For a bunch of guys who never took themselves too seriously, they made some of the most soulful, beautiful music anyone's ever made. They could rock as hard as anybody when they felt like it, and when you may not have expected it, would be as touching and personally engaging as a ballad could be delivered. History would prove them profoundly influential in the 10 years both groups existed. And regardless of how things may have ended, at their peak, both incarnations communicated what all great bands communicate: the camaraderie of a group of guys doing what they loved and knowing they needed each other to do it. It's my honor and my pleasure to proudly welcome Steve Marriott, Ronnie Lane, Kenney Jones, Ian McLagan, Ron Wood, and Rod Stewart, the Small Faces and the Faces, to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. We thought we'd been forgotten about, but it's better late than never. We're very excited and very proud to be here, and thank you very much. We'd like to thank all our fans, if they're still alive, and the Rock Hall of Fame, thank you very much for remembering us. It's also, although we're very excited, it's also a very sad occasion because Steve Marriott and Ronnie Lane are no longer with us. They're up in the Rock Hall of Fame in heaven. But we do have Mollie, Steve Marriott's daughter, and Toby are here. So this is Mollie, Steve's daughter.
Doesn't she look like somebody? She looks like her dad.
Sorry. I'm a little bit taller than him, though. I must say, Toby is here, but Tanya, our sister, is here as well, somewhere out there on one of the tables. I should be crying with emotion, but I've been actually hysterically crying with laughter, because these three, I tell you, floored me back there. They are the funniest guys ever. And they're still 21 at heart. But seriously, thank you. This means the world to us. I've already had people come up to me tonight who I've grown up with, listened to, saying how my dad influenced them. So thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm going to keep this short because I am. But that's not how I got the gig, actually. they picked me because they read a review of a show I played with a band that I was in. And when I met them, the three of them walked around the door of our manager's office, and Steve, Ronnie, and Kenney looked at me and just laughed because they didn't know I was the same height as them. And they picked me up, and there's my brothers forever. Ronnie Lane and Steve Marriott are sadly missed. God bless them. I want to introduce Ronnie Wood. Thank you very much.
All right, Mac. Hey. My slide and my pick. Thank you very much for inducting us all. And Rod Stewart, in his absence, God bless him, he's all part of the family, you know. And Ronnie Lane, we wanted to give his award tonight to our wonderful surprise Mick Hucknall singer. You know, he's a wonderful guy, and you'll see why, because words mean nothing until you hear the guy sing with us. So I think you'll all close your eyes and go right back to the 70s, if you were born then. But it's wonderful to be here and to say that Ronnie Lane, his spirit lives on, and we are his family anyway, so we will accept his award for him. Yes. All right? Here's to Ronnie. And I didn't plan anything, I just, you know, God bless you all for my second one. Yes! All right. And it's a blessing to be here with these boys, and we're going to try and play some good music for you.
We're going to take Ronnie's because we're his brothers. We love him.
But I don't know how I'm going to play with this. I'll try.
This one's called Ooh La La.
Poor old granddad, I laughed at all his words.
too shabby. And the wonderful Conrad.
And Paul Warren, thank you so much. This is better than a knighthood.